Right. Right. Righty-ho. Just setting up how to check that on YouTube. What I've got here is a picture I took some time ago. And with this image, it was taken on a foggy day, and that greyness is actually lake, and it looks as boring as anything. So what I thought I'd do is I'd use sky replacement and see what we could come up with. Now, what I'll do is I've already done it, so I'll just turn them on one at a time. What I did was I did 3 different sky replacements. I did a blue one, and then I did on top of that a one of the sunset ones, I think it's called. That one there. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. That one there. I'll redo it and turn the others off. It's that one there. I'll remove, delete group, yep. And then I did one of the storm ones, opacity 8, and each one of these you'll see the root one I've got the opacity about 60 odd there. The sunset one is about 26, and the storm one I chopped down to 8. It's that storm one there. I also scaled it up a bit and centered the bright bit, and we'll bring that back down to about 8 or 9. And it sort of gives a feeling of the storm one puts a nice patch in the middle, but I don't want it too strong. That's why I dialed it back to it's 6, 7, 8, 11's probably, yeah, it's not too bad. And what that does is almost gives a hint of a sunset of some sort being reflected in the water. It's done quite a good job. And it just makes it a little bit more interesting. I did a similar thing on another image. sorting out my skies. Where's the other image? This one here. What I did was I used that same sunset one and left it reasonably bright, and I named this picture Three Witches Looking into the Lake of Fire, because the whole coloration of it gave it a feel of a lake of fire. This one here, I feel the sky replacement makes it look better, not because Photoshop has picked that grey area there up as sky. Now, any one of these is just a little bit dull by themselves. Even at full strength, they just wouldn't look right. So I thought this one, the sunset one, gave the feeling of ripples in the water. The storm one just gave a little bit more red in the centre, and the blue one just toned that down from being that to that. I could dial the blue one down just a little bit more. I want a little bit of blue coming through. So that actually turns out to be not too bad, in my opinion. Wait for it to do its thing. Right, I should have compressed all these layers to start with, since I don't need all the individual layers. Right, that makes it a little bit faster. Most of the other pictures in this batch I didn't really do much like this with, but it does show that not only can you use sky replacement on dull, boring lakes, if you're lucky enough to have Photoshop pick the lake up as a sky, you can also layer your skies by going back to the image each time and doing a new sky replace, and it then just adjusting the opacity of each layer. This one here This one here I'm not going to do anything with, but just to show what it can do, it'd be interesting to see what the sky replacement picks up as thinking sky. Oh, can't pick anything, can't find anything. Do I have anything with a sky in it? Well, I think there's a sky in here. Yes, let's pick the sky. Now, okay, this is a ridiculous sky for this. You could pick one of the ones like that, and it's picking up a lot of that mist as sky, which means it's got completely and utterly wrong. But you can get some interesting effects if you play around with what's there. And as an example, because there is no actual sky, but this is so faded out it thinks it is. But as an example, I can't be bothered going and finding one with an actual sky, but one could pick something like that, for instance. One above the other. Drop the opacity, or change the blending mode even. Try that blending mode, adjust the opacity of the one underneath. By just playing with blending modes, you can have different effects. Now this doesn't work too well because I haven't got a sky in the background, but sometimes the sky you've got might actually just need one of the sky replacements blended into it to get it looking good. So yeah, thought I'd just throw that in there to see what people thought. This one here, for instance, what could be interesting is I rotate 180 degrees, go to sky replacement, let it think for a while it, yeah, see, it actually thinks that that water is sky. Now I can go and choose one, scale it up a bit, rotate that back. Oops, image rotation 180. Now I've got coloured lake. Not overly useful as such, but you can create all sorts of interesting effects by doing that, and then changing the blending mode or whatever. One could even invert the mask. Create all sorts of weird effects. Not that I'm going to do that for this, but if that was a sky, I wonder if we've got anything handy that delete group, oops, duplicate, delete. Let's see if in one of these other folders here I've got something with a sky in it. Night shoot. Oh, there we go. Play with that one. That's a boring bloody sky if I've ever seen one. Now, with this one we could do sky replacement. Let it think for a bit. Now, for a night sky, that's actually not too bad. It creates a nice dramatic effect. So that would probably be quite good how it is. We can try this trick. Sky replacement. Oop. Try sky replacement again. Now we could play with any one of the others out of here. Let's pick that one at random. And I can create a subdued version of that one. I can play around with any of the blending modes in here. That's not a bad effect just there. So that's actually not too bad. I could, which one of these is the coloured one? That one there. I could duplicate the group. It's just a straight invert work. Not quite. So I can do here. Rid of that. Get rid of that layer mask. Get rid of that group. Rid of that layer. Right. Move that down to about there. Overlay. Might work. The opacity just a little bit. Now I have a dark looking sky, and a bit of that reflected in the lake. What I might do is go into Camera Raw, on the image itself, bump the shadows just a little bit. See how that comes out, how that affects it. Yeah, that just makes it a little bit brighter. And for this, just adjust my opacity there. Because it's this evening, it's given it a slightly darker look. By doing that. I think that's not too bad. So there's my finished image with a darker feel to it, but still some of the light reflected on the lake, because that strip there and that strip there, you would expect to sort of see some of that even in a darkened lake to some degree. So dial it back a little bit more, so it's just got that hint of purple. There, I think that's not too bad. But anyway, that's me, done and dusted. I was just looking at the idea that you can play with the various sky layers and sky replacements, and layer them and play with them, combine them, mix them, whatever you want, to get an interesting effect.